had games of 12 and 20 against the Pacers this year. He had 20 in the win. And again, it was a dominating performance, and they didn't get much from that guy in Andre Drummond. Here is Marcus Morris missing the three.
No, they really didn't get much from him. That's what was surprising about how well they were able to get that victory. The Pacers, no excuse, had come off a back-to-back with Miami, but they weren't able to get that victory when they went to Detroit.
Looked to be a strong move by Paul George, but he couldn't finish. And now Ilyasova inside, tossed it up. It's 4-0 Detroit.
You see Detroit coming out with that energy. You got to play with real energy and urgency from the beginning, because you're going to use up that energy. That's what happened to the Pacers in the game against Milwaukee. You use that energy and you'll run out of gas. That happened in Milwaukee. Just didn't have enough energy to keep going.
And Jan Mahinmi missed the jump shot, so the Pacers 0 for 4 to start. They've been outscored by almost 4 points per game in the first quarter in the last 7. That's one of the reasons they're 2 and 5. Now Lavoy Allen, who has shot the ball well but misses. Last 2 games, Allen 12 of 15 from the field, but the 0 for 5 and a timeout, and it's a 6-0 lead for Detroit.
And Frank had to get a timeout because of things. Slow start for the Pacers. And the energy needed. The energy was not there, Chris. Frank wants to get it going. Gets this time out.
Pacers in a hole, trailing Detroit 6-0.
You've probably noticed we have a thing for hearts. That's because at Southwest, people are at the heart of. So when our employees volunteer over 140,000 hours a year for charity, it's no coincidence that it comes from the heart. Sure, we're an airline, but we do some of our best work on the ground.
Until 1995, there were no pulmonary hypertension treatments available. Today, there are 12 medicines for adults, but none have been approved for children with PH. That's why PHA is committed to funding groundbreaking pediatric research. Visit phassociation.org to help provide hope for children with PH. Hope for Ian, Katie Grace, Maddie, and me, Lucas. The Pulmonary Hypertension Association, empowered by hope.
Look at me. Hey.
Look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry.
Maybe he can't hear us.
Maybe we're not stimulating him enough.
Avoiding eye contact is an early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Pacers basketball on Fox Sports Indiana is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Andy Moore Automotive, where you get more for your money. First game of 2016, we come back to Bankers Life Fieldhouse, and boy, a replay of what we played. Bad start for the Pacers, 6-0 Detroit. The first problem child, if you will, for the Pacers all year long. I know minus 0.4 doesn't look like a big number, but the fact of the matter, it's the only quarter of the 4 where the Pacers are on the wrong end.
And see how strong the Pacers are in the fourth quarter. So, they have always been able to come back and get back in the game. But the question is, can you just get off to a good start? That's
fine and good. They scored the fourth the other night. 16-point hole. In the shot clock, here is a 3, and it's good by Paul George.
And a tough 3, too, because his defender's right there, but at least gets the Pacers off the snide.
He had gone 12 straight games, not shooting 50% or above, but had an excellent shooting game against Milwaukee. 5 of 9 from 3. Aldrich Pope short. Rebound is tipped. 29 rebounds against the Pacers in game 1. That was a career high. He's down there in the post, and that's no good. Good block out by Mahinmi.
So when Morris took that shot, he wasn't clean. He's still worried about somebody possibly blocking it.
He's got a size advantage. You want to see him take it to the basket.
Way. This is the way. Basket. He lost sight of the basket, believe it or not, because he couldn't figure out whether he wanted to shoot it backboard or on the rim. That's why he shot it so high. but you want him backing him down. You don't want him, taking a turnaround jump shot. He took the right shot. He just didn't make it.
And this is where Paul George can guard 4 positions on the floor, but he can't handle Reggie Jackson there, who leads the league with 12 drives per game. He converts them to almost 9 points. As Jackson, a 2-time Eastern Conference Player of the Week, leads him in scoring with 20 points per game.
This is one of those situations where you don't have enough time because this play is being run because Mahimi didn't know exactly where to go. Just what one day he'll do. Can't lob it to him. And this guy, you got Morris and Drummond. You can't lob it.
Well, that was an issue Thursday night. The Pacers 20 turnovers. Milwaukee scored 30. So the turnover, especially Thursday night against the Bucks.
Well, it was the last time these two teams played. Pacers gave up 27 points off of
2 bad passes in a row by Paul George.
Oh, they saying he got.
Lauren Holtkamp is coming over to help David Guthrie.
Well, did he get pushed before he touched the ball?
It's a loose ball foul.
Saying George Hill pushed him as he was going up. So if he interfered with the ball, the foul is effectively called before that. That's why Detroit gets the ball out.
So a brand new shot clock for Detroit. Pass goes up high to Drummond. He's out and he's going to drive. Not a bad foul because he's a bad free throw shooter.
Right, partner. That's a good. You're right. That's a good foul. What you've got to be able to deal with is the pick and roll and everybody knowing their responsibilities when you get through that. Paul is out here, and you can see just Reggie's able to drive. You see what he was able to do was to get Paul blocked by Lavoy Allen on that. That's just the quickness there, but the Pacers have to see that there needs to be some help.
Well, the officials are coming over to take a look at this foul, and they're going to check if it's a flagrant foul.
It was an aggressive foul. I don't know if it was an excessive foul, and that's what a flagrant one is. Yeah, whatever you are. It was an aggressive foul, but I think that, and it's hard. This is one of those things like with Shaq or any of those guys with great size. It's hard to officiate them. I just thought this was an aggressive foul. I didn't think it was a excessive foul, just aggressive. And that's how they ruled it. What you have to do at home, ladies and gentlemen, is just kind of ignore the because everybody does that.
Yeah.
Every time they get fouled, to make sure officials make the call. So that part, though we had great sound, so our sound people should be given, audio people given credit. Everybody does that. That is a good hard foul. It was an aggressive foul. That's all.
38% at the free throw line. Andre Drummond.
Ooh. You can see that one coming off the hand.
He was 39% a year ago. Worst in the NBA. DeAndre Jordan at 40. Howard, Ezeli, and Whiteside. Don Mahimi was in that group earlier in the year, but he's improved to 54%.
That's not a group you want to be in.
I'm not sure he hit the rim.
Well, partner, he'd have to hit the rim because he doesn't hit the rim, they take the ball out.
Right. I thought they might have missed it.
Yeah, Frank stepped in our way just as it was getting to the rim.
Pacers have started 1 of 7 against this Detroit team.
And this is what Detroit wants to get the Pacers to do. This is what they've got to get out of. This is your dribbling to try to get into something. That's Detroit's ball.
Well, Lauren Holtkamp points toward the Pacers basket with .6.
Yeah, he missed it. And that's in favor of the Pacers, except you only have 0.6 seconds.
Danny Crawford is the crew chief. The 3 officials. Shoot this. Paul George gets it. And Mahimi fights for the offensive rebound, but Drummond has it. 1 of 8 Indiana has started.
They've taken challenge shots, and a lot of them have come off the dribble.
Pacers have lost 2 straight, both against Central Division teams in Chicago on Wednesday. And then losing at home to Milwaukee on Thursday. Here come the Pacers. Detroit just 4 of 12, really not taking advantage of this bad. Throws down for George Hill.
Got grabbed on the arm by Rich. And left arm. You got to get something, and that's the right idea. Shot blocking team. They block less than 4 shots a game. and you've got to be able to go to the rim and put them in position to foul.
71% free throw shooter is George Hill in his 8th year out of IUPUI, and we have seen that free throw percentage dip. Time for our 4 keys to the game, Quinn.
You got to initiate the physicality. They're a physical team, and if you sit and take it, then the official, if anything happens, they're going to first of all call it against you. But that means your energy level is up. Then don't let Drummond dominate. That's on the glass. And around the basket, don't let him dominate. And to the point that I think that Lavoy Allen did the right thing. Foul him hard if he gets it around there. The numbers say he cannot shoot foul shots, so foul him if you have to.
Lavoy Allen went to the floor. Now Ilyasova for 3. It's too strong. Good rebound by Mahimi.
The block out to keep Drummond from getting that offensive rebound. That's the other thing they do well, Chris. They really get a lot of shots.
Jim Allen. And on the miss by Ellis. And even though Monte didn't score, he created something.
Yeah, he got the defense to collapse. Oh, this is quick. Man, I thought that was going off his leg. I mean, really solid defense, but look, John Mahimi gets in there and he puts the body on him. That's what you do to keep from having Drummond dominate. And then Lavoy gets in there and he fights. That's almost an air ball.
Well, Caldwell Pope got away with a push, but Paul George grabs the rebound.
This energy level since the timeout is much better.
On the baseline, badly missed it. Drummond got the rebound. Indiana just 2 of 11 from the field, but they trail just 8-6. Size advantage, Morris.
Yeah, somebody's got to go make it. When a guy is sizing it up, and when he's sizing up, he's taking those dribbles, you got to break the rhythm. So he can't catch the ball and shoot it in rhythm.
Marcus Morris in his first year in Detroit's had a career best year. 14.5 points, 5.5 rebounds. In his 5th year out of Kansas, drive by Ellis.
Good drop, able to get it to go nicely.
Challenge Drummond, and you're right. You would think that Drummond would be a little bit better shot blocker than he is.
Yeah, he really is. He doesn't really try to get a lot of block shots. I think they encourage him to be more, just challenge the shots. If you can get to the rim.
Here comes George Hill. He's going to take it right at Reggie Jackson.
That's a foul on Jackson. That's his second.
Boy, I like the aggressiveness from George Hill.
You've got to be aggressive, and you see turning the corner here. It's Monte, and he's able to loft it over the top with touch to get that to go down. Drummond comes there, but late. Even in position, Mahimi was there in case he came out.
And with that drive, Reggie Jackson goes to the bench, his 2nd personal foul. As George Hill just made 1 of 2, now 2 of 3. And coming in for Indiana, Jordan Hill missed the last 2 games. He had an infected wisdom tooth that he's had to deal with, and so great to see Jordan Hill. He missed the last 2 games, the 2 losses in Chicago, and then Thursday night against Milwaukee. And Brandon Jennings is on the floor for Detroit. This is his 3rd game back. Last January 24th, he ruptured his Achilles a week after he scored 37 against the Pacers here at Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Yeah, he gives him some quickness, but you know that coming back at this being his third game, it's going to be a little tough for him to get going.
Ilyasova missed it. Pacers have done a nice job against Drummond, trying to keep him away. As the game is tied now at 10, Jennings guards Paul George. Leaves it off. First
right thing. He came over and got the switch because you had Jennings on Paul George. So when you run that pick and roll, they switched it. He'll roll. Nothing Jennings can do to stop that.
6-0 lead.
Shot clock is at 3.
They're going to throw it out of bounds, and a lucky fan gets to touch it in the first.
You know, you've got to recognize where the opportunities are. This means Jennings has got to stay there, and he does. And in doing so, it became a bit of a challenge.
And so George Hill will take a seat. Pacers go to the bench. Rodney Stuckey, the former Piston, is in. He said games of 20 and 10 at the Palace of Auburn Hills this year. Stuckey averaging 10.5 points per game, 2nd year with the blue and gold.